بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So we said we have three types of tafsir. Three main types of tafsirs. The first type, we call it Exactly. أحسنت. التفسير. Yusuf, this is important. Write it down. التفسير بالمأثور. بالمأثور. Or sometimes they call it النقلي. 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 Meaning what? Can someone? Text. Depending on the text. So they translate the Quran, explain the Quran, depending only on the text of the Prophet, the Sahaba, the Imams, what they said regarding this ayah. Ma'thur only. You don't put anything of yourself, your idea, your opinion. You don't. And that was the beginning of the tafsir. When the tafsir, science of tafsir started with this. Started with ma'thur. They hear what the Prophet says, the Sahaba, the Tabi'een after the Sahaba, Ahlul Bayt, and they say, this is the opinion regarding this ayah. This is the meaning of this ayah. Tafsir bil ma'thur. After that, we saw the development of the tafsir and the creation of the second type of tafsir, which is what? What do we call it? Exactly. التفسير الاجتهادي. Meaning what? When did it happen? When did it happen? What generation? Exactly, Dr. Ali. During the second generation. The first generation is Sahaba. The second generation is Tabi'een. During the time of the Tabi'een, we saw the emergence of the second type of tafsir, which is at-tafsir al-ijtihadi, or sometimes they call it what, Dr. Ali? Ahsant. Versus naqli. See, this is naqli, this is al-aqli. Al-aqli, Yusuf, means what, al-aqli here? Exactly, reason. The reasoning. Okay, intellectual. Aqli is intellectual. Whereas naqli means what? What was said, exactly. The text. I'm just telling you the text. I'm transferring the text to you. I'm not adding anything. But the second one, no. This is my derivation. This is my tafsir. Okay? And then we faced a danger here. When this one emerged, we faced a danger. That danger is called what? No, before the Israeliyat. Before the Israeliyat. What is the risk of this type of tafsir? Exactly. التفسير بالرأي. التفسير, which is ممنوع. التفسير بالرأي. بالرأي means when you use your personal opinion. Why it is danger? For two reasons. Number one, let me put it here. Why this one is dangerous? تفسير بالرأي. Or why it is dangerous?
It could be baseless in the Quran. It could be baseless in the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet.
No. First of all, because he uses his own personal opinion. Okay?
Agendas. Yeah, he creates agendas.
Exactly, his personal opinion. It's baseless. He's not going through the process. He's not saying why. He says, I like this. This is my opinion. This is how I understand the Quran. This is how I understand the Quran. Not how it is written or how the Fulan Sahabi, Fulan Imam, Fulan Prophet said. No. This is how I understand it. And then he becomes despotic in his opinion. He says, only this meaning is correct. Other meanings are not correct. He becomes despotic. Okay? So this is one, istibdadu bil ra'i. So this is one of the dangers. That using personal opinion. Okay? Personal opinion. What is the second danger of this tafsir bil ra'i? Which is very popular. This one, second one, was very popular and unfortunately shifted the tafsir and created huge problem in the science of tafsir. Both of you are close, but not close enough. Let me tell you. He has an idea. He has a doctrine. He is pursuing certain doctrines and ideas, and he wants to apply the Quran into his own idea. So he wants the Quran to support his idea. He doesn't care about the Quran. He doesn't want to support the Quran. He wants the Quran to support him. So he has some pre-perceived ideas, okay? And he brings shawahid, examples from the Quran to support his argument. Such as what? Give me an example of that.
Did the Ash'ari do that?
Exactly. The Ash'arite, it's a philosophy that believes in tajseem. What is tajseem?
Giving God the physical attributes.
Exactly. God has physical, tajseem from jism, body. So God has physical attributes. Physical attributes. Therefore, they argue that whenever a verse refers to the eyes of God, the face of God, the hand of God, then this means it's literal. God has eyes, He has face, He has hand, He has legs, He has this, He has that. He has a body mass. A body mass. Okay? So one of the verses which was misinterpreted by them is what? Yadullah fawqa aydihim. This is one. The other one is وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. Faces are waiting to see the face of their Lord. إلى ربها إلى ربها. To their Lord they are looking. Then it means that God has a face. They are looking into His face. Okay? Whereas, so they had this ideas, pre-perceived ideas, and they wanted to apply these verses to their own ideas. This is another danger. Or another example, which is used widely today, especially by despotic regimes in the Middle East. Saudis and their exactly. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر. Obey God, obey His apostle, and obey those. أولي الأمر is interpreted as what? Those who are in charge. In charge. Who's in charge of your tribe, your society, your country? Sultan, Emir, Sheikh Fulan, Sheikh Fulan. Then you have to, because God is telling you, obey those who are in charge. If you don't obey, then you are a sinner. You deserve death. Whereas ulil amr means what? Ulil amr means the mayor that we elect. This is ulil amr. Huh? And God puts ulil amr with him in the same level. So he puts the mayor of Irvine with him in the same level, or the governor, or the president here. Is in the same level with God? No, he's not. Yeah, you may obey the mayor, no problem. But this is not in the Quran. God is not asking you. God is asking you to obey God, His apostle, and those that are appointed by God and representing God and representing the Prophet. Those are ulil amr. But because it has been politically manipulated. So this is the second problem. The second problem is to apply the verse to their liking, to their ideas. That is at-tafsir bil-ra'i. This is dangerous. These two things are dangerous, and therefore the hadith of the Prophet, whoever does this, let him book his seat in where? Huh? Min an-nar. Then we come, my friends, to another type of ijtihad, a tafsir. The third type is what? Then this evolved into the third one. What was the third one? Which we're going to speak about it briefly tonight.
Two types of ijtihadi, we said, ijtihadi
No, two types of tafsir, naqli and aqli. Naqli is ma'thur, what has been said, the text. Ijtihadi is to incorporate your opinion, but based on what? Based on evidence, not based on baseless. Okay? Then we evolved into the third type, which we see in the market today in the libraries. Not tafsir mawdu'i, tafsir al-ijtihadi al-jami' al-ijtihadi al-jami'. It means what? Al-tafsir. See, the same as this one, al-ijtihadi, but then they add to it what? Al-jami'. Al-jami' means what? Comprehensive. Comprehensive means what? What does comprehensive mean? It means the tafsir is going to speak, first of all, about adab, the grammar in the Quran. Arabic literature. Like Tabarsi. When you open al-lugha, he says, let's discuss the lugha now of this verse. The lugha, why it has been formed like that. What are the examples of this verse in the shi'r, in the Arabic poetry? So the lugha, they discuss the lugha, the language. After that, they discuss the meaning. And then sometimes, some of them, they have tendency for irfan. So they explain the Quran in a spiritual, irfani way. Some of them, they lean toward the hadith. Whenever there is hadith who is identical to this verse, who falls in the same category, they bring up the hadith. Some of them, they are scientists. They look at the scientific aspects of these verses, scientific aspects, whatever modern science says about them. Some of them are what? What else? Philosophical, theological. So each one approaches the Quran from his own angle, from his own views, whatever he favors. So now it's not only about the meaning of the verse. In the past, you open the tafsir just to know the meaning. Now, no. You go deeper and deeper and deeper, not just the meaning, the surroundings, the applications, the connotations, whatever is related to this verse. Analysis, okay, predictions.
So you just came later, like as you're mixing mixing
Yes,
cultures.
yeah,
and-
mixing cultures and having more scholars and more studies. So it's not only the crude Quran we are studying. I'm not interested only in the meaning. I'm interested in the applications too.
What are the flaws in that?
Hmm?
What are the flaws in that?
Plenty, because some of them are irrelevant. You know, this is his, as we say here, right. It's not supported, by something solid. Some of it is correct. Some of what they say is correct. Because the Quran is a book of reflection. And God says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. I want you to do tadabbur, to find new discoveries. It has not been said before. You're going to understand them now. You're going to discover them yourself. But that does not mean everything we discover is correct. God is not saying everything any human comes and says about the Quran is correct. No, I want you to reflect. Some of these reflections are accurate, some of them are hallucination. Yes.
In this third type of tafsir, the people who are doing this, ijtihad al-jami'ah, they're not restricting themselves to just the Quran and hadith like our scholars do, right? This is why there's this ishkal. Okay, yeah.
Not just Quran and Hadith, not restricting themselves, but they put their own discoveries, or whatever has been discovered, they apply it to the Quran. Now, having said that, what is the most important type of tafsir in the Quran? After you knew all these three, what is the most important type of tafsir in the Quran?
Taklifi?
Huh?
Taklifi?
Taklifi?
Or the laws of Shara?
What do we call it? أحكام. تفسير الأحكام. أحسنتم. تفسير أحكام القرآن. We will inshallah in the next few days focus on, this is one of the best books, تفسير آيات الأحكام. تفسير آيات الأحكام, because this is why we study the Quran. The first, Quran has 1,000 purposes to study the Quran. What is the top one? What is the top one? I'm asking you.
Believe in God.
Huh? Exactly. To know what is halal and what is haram. That's number one. That's number one. The very top priority. To see what is halal in my life and what is haram. It's a book of law. And then after that book of maw'idah, stories, inspirations, discoveries, science, social life. But number one, it's a book of law. Ayatul Ahkam, to tell me, is this halal? Is this haram? So this is why the most important type of tafsir, which is not luxury anymore. Some of them are luxury. If you don't understand them, not a big deal. You still can make it to paradise. Yeah. One day the Prophet came to his mosque and he saw a group gathered around one person. This person speaks like a celebrity. The Prophet said, what is happening? But the Prophet was very respectful. He doesn't want to disrespect anyone. They said, Ya Rasulullah, this is Allama. Allama, very knowledgeable. He said, Allama in what? They said, he's Allama fi ayyam al-Arab wa buyutiha. He's Allama, knowledgeable in the history of the Arabs and the families. The Prophet said, ذاك علم لا يضر من جهله ولا ينفع من علمه. This is a type of knowledge that if you don't know it, doesn't hurt. Neither it is going to benefit you if you know it. Waste of time. Yes, it is knowledge. It is knowledge. But luxury, this is luxury. So if you don't know it, God is not going to say, hold you accountable. Why didn't you learn? He's not going to say that. So many of these knowledges that we study today, not necessary, luxury. We have to study what is necessary first. Then if you have time, go to the luxury one. Even in the Hawza, in the seminaries, they don't study Ayatul Ahkam. They don't study the Quran. They study the philosophy of this, philosophy of that. They leave the basics, the basic knowledge of Ahlul Bayt, the basic knowledge of the Quran they abandon. They go after some sciences which is really, someone left America and he went to Qom. After a few years he came. He brought me a book. Looked at the book. Strange, very strange. I know the title, but Ilmul Usturlab. Usturlab. Said, what is the Raml? They call it Raml and Ustur. He said, this is a special knowledge I learned. I discovered the psychology of people. I read people's mind and I can tell you who's good, who's bad. I said, you went here, you left your family. You left UC Irvine, you were studying at UC Irvine. You went 15 years there to study this knowledge, to discover who's good and who's bad. You wasted your time. You wasted your time. And then he became depressed. Wallahi. He had depression and they had to take him, admit him into a hospital. Severe depression.
Why? Because what you said?
Not because what I said, because of what he read. Because he wasted his time, so he doesn't leave the house. He was telling me, I don't leave the house because all what I see around me are pigs and apes. I see the reality of people. I said, this is wrong.
I saw him and Professor X in X-Men.
Yeah, because he sees the truth about them. He doesn't see their external shape. He sees their internal shape. So they are all pigs and apes. And then the poor guy, he ended up in the mental asylum. So ذاك علم. Sometimes we should not waste our time, our effort on something which is useless. Study in the Quran, Ayatul Ahkam are important. Ayatul Ahkam, if we want to study the tafsir, begin with Ayatul Ahkam. Then when you have time, study history, study Anbiya, stories, parables, akhlaq, manners. Of course, Quran is a big treasure. It has everything. But begin with what is necessary.
I think you said at one time, you said like people are interested in the magical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many people ask me sometimes about, Sayyid, these numbers, does it have a meaning? I said, even if it has, so what? So what? Why do you spend your time keeping yourself busy with something which is odd, strange? So inshallah, we will study this, okay? But now, I have 5 more minutes. Let's just go through the Ayatul Ahkam in other traditions, in the Sunni traditions. Ayatul Ahkam started with a man, the first one who wrote tafsir, in the year 146. 146. Give you 2 examples of Ayatul Ahkam. When did it start? Started in 146. Ayatul Ahkam. Ayat al-Ahkam. So the first tafsir that was written, it was written 146 Hijri by a man called Abu Nadhr ibn al-Sa'ib al-Kalbi. Ibn al-Sa'ib al-Kalbi. Followed by another person, second person in 150. 150, okay? Almost the same period. And that is Muqatil ibn Sulaiman. Apparently both were Shias. After that, you see the scholars, the mufassirin, started to write their books. So in the Hanafi tradition, let's begin with the Hanafi, because Abu Hanifa is the largest, has the largest following. Today, most of the Sunnis are Hanafis. So what is the most important book in the Hanafi? Is Al-Jassas. Al-Jassas. Write them down because you're going to be asked, Hanafi. This is Hanafi. Hanafi fiqh. So Al-Jassas wrote his book, Ayatul Ahkam or Ahkamul Quran. This is year 370. 370 Hijri. Al-Jassas. Number 2, after Hanafi comes what? Which madhab? Maliki, ahsant. So who was the Maliki? Ibn al-Arabi al-Maliki. Ibn al-Arabi. Ibn al-Arabi, this is Maliki, and he wrote his book in he died 543 Hijri. In Andalus, he's from the Andalus, of course.
With the Turkish, I think, something.
Yeah. Abu Bakr. His name is Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi. Okay? So this is the Maliki. The Maliki. And then we go to the third one. After Maliki comes what? Ahsant. Shafi'i. So Shafi'i, his book is written by An-Naysaburi, Al-Bayhaqi, An-Naysaburi. From where? From Naysabur. Where is Naysabur, my friends? Iran. Okay. 458. This is Al-Naysaburi, and I can spend with each one of these books one whole day, but I'm not going to do that. And then number 4, which is number 4? Which madhab is number 4? Hanbali, and that is Abu Ya'la. Abu Ya'la. This is Hanbali. And he wrote his tafsir. He died also 458 Hijri. So these are the 4 important tafsirs in the Sunni tradition. The most important regarding Ayatul Ahkam. So those are the pioneers. Al-Kalbi, Muqatil ibn Sulaiman are the pioneers. Followed by those guys. Hanafi, Maliki. This is Shafi'i. I forgot to write Shafi'i here. This is Shafi'i. Okay. And this is Hanbali. Very knowledgeable scholars, of course. They spend time writing about Ayat al-Ahkam, which is estimated to be at what? How many ayah in the Quran? 500. 500. And then I'm going to tell you the imamis after that, inshallah. But before we leave, give you a glimpse of what we're going to study in Ayatul Ahkam. Surah An-Nisa. Surah An-Nisa is what chapter? No, 4. 419. 419. 419. This is one verse, an example of Ayatul Ahkam. 419. Surah An-Nisa. What does it say? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu. O who you believe. La yahillu lakum. It's not permissible for you. An tarithu nisaa karhan. It's not lawful for you, write this down, to inherit women against their will. by coercion. Inherit them by coercion. How does that happen? Can someone explain to me?
War, capture of war, prisoner of war, or whatever.
No, no, has nothing to do with war.
Was it, let's say a husband died, sometimes they give to another relative,
Aha.
a brother or something?
Her husband dies, so rather than giving her her share of inheritance, a male relative of him, let's say his nephew, is a brother, male relative of her husband will take away her share of inheritance. So she does not receive her inheritance. They say, Yara, why? You just married him to serve him. You cannot take your share. So a male relative of her deceased husband is going to put his hand on the estate or the inheritance, or her share. Her share. Whether her share is 1/8, 1/8, or 1/4, she does not get. So Quran says it's unlawful. If her husband dies, she has a share. This is number one. This is number one. Okay? Number two. وَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنْ. تَعْضُلُوهُنْ comes from what? The verb is what? See? تَعْضُلُوهُنْ. Comes from what? تَعْضُلُوهُنْ. Comes from what? The verb is simply what? عضل. عضل. عضل means what? Preventing them. عضل means preventing them. From what? وَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ. Preventing them from marrying again. From marrying again. They would, when her husband dies, they tell her, listen, if you don't forfeit your dowry and all the money you acquired during his lifetime, whatever he has given you, clothing, jewelry, house, land, bustan, ranch, farm, you leave it. Otherwise, we are not allowing you to go and remarry someone else. They prevent her. They stop her. Unless she forfeits her wealth, her money. Give me your money, go and enjoy, marry someone else. Because you took this money from my father, from my uncle, from my family. This is not your money. This is what they say to her. Okay? So this is the second. وَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ لِتَذْهَبُوا, to take away from them بِبَعْضِ مَا آتَيْتُمُهُنْ, taking some of what they have acquired from their previous husbands. So basically they tell her, leave everything behind and go leave our home naked, go and marry someone else, remarry. But you have no right to take the wealth of our son who died, let's say, our father who died, our brother who died. Because they considered everything she acquired during her marriage not to be of her own. She doesn't deserve it. After the death of her husband, she has to leave everything behind and go empty-handed. Yes, Ali.
Say, was there any inheritance like before Islam?
Of course, of course.
So this
But it was not regulated. Islam came to regulate that,
right.
to give portions, to specify the portions. Okay? And then the Quran says, إِلَّا أَن يَأْتِينَ بِفَاحِشَةٍ مُبَيَّنَةٍ, unless they commit a flagrant indecency, which is what in this case? Adultery. Then you have the right to ask them to leave because they violated the rules of marriage, of family. And then وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, the third ruling here. The third ayah, the third hukm in this ayah. وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ, consort with them بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, with kindness and what? And humbleness. live with your wives, with your spices, with your, not spices. Yeah, they are spices in a way. Spouses, with kindness and humility. وعاشروهن بالمعروف. فإن كرهتموهن. If it happened that you dislike your partner, a husband does not like his wife. She doesn't like her husband. There is no love between them. فإن كرهتموهن فعسى. How oftentimes you may dislike something and تكره شيئا, but on the other hand ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا. How oftentimes we dislike something, but then God puts an abundance of goodness in that thing. So the third part of the verse says what? If you dislike your partner, what does it advise us? What is the hukum here?
Be patient.
Be patient. Don't resort to divorce immediately because you just dislike. Keep her, keep him. Maybe some goodness comes out of that. How oftentimes we dislike something. I dislike to go to this place. I dislike this trip. I dislike this house. I dislike this school. I dislike this job. I dislike this friend. But then God puts an abundance of goodness in that. Who knows? We never know. Maybe God will bring you goodness out of it. So be patient. Not that as long as the moment you develop disliking, you decide, let me divorce her immediately. No, don't do that. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم